It is now, what time is it? 3:01 p.m. I call to the regular meeting of the Balcones Heights Economic Development Corporation to order. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members present. A quorum is seated. We may conduct business. Mr. City Secretary, has anyone signed up to address the board?
No, sir.
Okay, seeing no one signed up for public comment. We can recognize Community Development Director Nick Ibarque for the community development updates. Floor is yours, Nick.
Okay, good afternoon. Just to kind of quickly go through, we have about 2 or 3 months worth to catch up on for certificate of occupancies. So Alamo Golf Den, 7001, not sales tax generating. Texas Superior Services, 7001, West H10. This is the business park. Majority of the certificate of occupancy is going to be out there. Excuse me. Texas Superior Services, not tax generating. Go Big Business Group LLC, not sales tax generating. Tritech Survey, not sales tax generating. Apex Den Solutions, not sales tax generating. Vending and Delivering LLC, not sales tax generating, despite what the name sounds like. Yard by Design, not sales tax generating. Phoenix by Performance, not sales tax generating. This was a pre-existing business in the business park. They just relocated to a larger suite, expanding their operations. Little Big Minds Learning. This is a daycare not located at the business park. It is on Hillcrest Drive. It is sales tax generating. I'm assuming that they're doing some sort of sales there. I don't believe daycare services are sales tax generating, but some sort of offering there will be. So they have turned in their sales and use tax certificate. The Main Culture at the business park, not sales tax generating. MF Commercial Buildings, not sales tax generating. Blue Line Construction and Remodeling, not sales tax generating. A Gold Permanent Makeup Studio, not sales tax generating. Fergalez Food Distributors, not sales tax generating. The Brow House, not sales tax generating. Last one on here, the Burger Plug, 2730 Hillcrest Drive, is sales tax generating. But to the best of my knowledge, I believe they were only occupying the suite for about a month or two. I think they've already moved out at this point, but that's just something to think about. Vacant commercial lots, all of these have pretty much stayed the same. There's not really any changes since March. 110 North Crossroads, I want to point out. I don't know if we've talked about it yet or not. That was former charcoal grill that has since been demolished. So that property is now vacant. The property owner is talking to a few businesses trying to see what would fit best there to try to bring something in to relocate. Moving on to residential, there have been a few additions to this. I believe there's one additional for sale property, a couple that are listed for lease. I'll quickly go through them. 620 Gentleman Road. This is submitting an application to BOA. They have had a variance in the past. I believe it was issued back in 2021. It expires after a year. They're looking to renew those variances. That way they can build townhomes there. So that's expected to go through here in the next month or two up to the Board of Adjustments. 221 Bobby's Lane. This is a vacant lot, not listed for sale or lease. 210 Concord Place. This is a property zoned R1 single family residence. They have an approved variance from last August. It is set to expire pretty soon here, but they are in the process of gathering permits. All the plans for the home is approved. 1139 Babcock Road. This is a vacant lot for some time, not listed for sale or lease. 137 Balcones Heights Road, vacant home, not listed for sale or lease. 102 Leisure Drive, vacant, R1, not listed for sale or lease. 249 Bobby's Lane, vacant property, for sale. There's no listed price for sale. 329 Glenarm Place, vacant property, single family residence, not listed for sale or lease. 238 Crestview Drive, this has been a vacant home for some time, zoned R1, not listed for sale or lease. 244 Concord Place, vacant property, not listed for sale or lease. 205 Balcones Heights Road, R1, listed for sale. 221 Balcones Heights, listed for sale. Those two are new properties that have been listed. 203 Concord Place listed for lease. There is one property missing from here that's along Crestview Drive that's just gone up for sale or lease here in the past maybe about a week or so, pre-existing this report's completion. I believe all the commercial properties are updated on the website. We don't list any of the residential unless it's for sale, but it has been updated as of last week. Moving on to capital improvement projects, Crestview Phase 3. This has been completed as of early this month. Most of the construction had finished about 4 to 6 weeks ago, but final inspections have already been completed by TDLR, which goes through and looks at the accessibility standards. So that project is completed. We're just closing it out with Bear County. The Hillcrest Road reconstruction. Excuse me. Hillcrest Road reconstruction. We're still in the design and acquisition phase. This has been a very long project. I think we're going on probably 6 or 7 years looking at this project, but we're finally towards the end there and starting construction. So our roadway plans and design are at a 90%. SAWS plans are at a 60%. CPS and AT&T utility designs are being reviewed by both utility companies. They're finally on board, starting to review them. So we should hear from them in a few months and get them up to speed there. And right-of-way acquisition is being taken place right now along Hillcrest for the affected properties. The miscellaneous projects that are going on, Dave and Buster's, this has reopened for quite some time, but we haven't had a meeting. So the Red Ribbon Cutting did take place on March 20th. The project was valued at $625,000. Our EPA Brownfields Assessment Grant, the site inventory has been supplied to the city after quite some time. The GQAP has been submitted to the EPA. Our quarterly report was submitted back in April, and our yearly quality management plan has been submitted to the EPA as well. The residential rental property inspection program. These things are ones that we renew around December, January, early on in the year. Once we've had everybody paid up, then we start our inspections. So this has listed 25% completed on our first inspections. An updated amount is 40% as of today have been completed inspections. I'm not going to say 40% are up to speed or passing those scores, but half of them have had their first inspection, but we'll be in compliance within the next few months. Any questions?
Any questions for Nick?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
You go ahead.
I have some questions for you, Nick, regarding these properties that you mentioned right now. Recently, I emailed you a property that had a problem with a tree that fallen over and neighbor had complained about it on Crestview. Was it 230?
230 and 238. Those are the affected properties.
What?
238.
38. So my question is on these 13 properties that we have here, what is being done to make sure that y'all, I don't see a report here like where you're doing inspections or checking out the neighborhood to see periodically whether these properties are actually being maintained. I did an inspection of the entire city, and I do it from time to time. I drive around, I look at places, vacant lots. The one that's over by the I-10 West area on the business side park, there's an empty lot there. It's right next to the old hotel where the security agency is at. And that
6901 West IH10.
maintained consistently. It's in between the apartment complex and that security thing. So I guess just make sure that you stay on top of it. As I mentioned in my email, it really impacts our economic development initiatives and efforts in what we're doing. So stay on top of it and make sure you put extra effort into making sure these properties are maintained. And because we've had a couple of complaints in the last couple of days or last week from several residents or a couple of residents complaining about these properties, that they're not being maintained. I've constantly been talking about how these overgrown trees and branches right at the old Norma's Taco Place. And I kept getting the same old runaround that, oh, we can't do anything about it. It's in compliance. So it's good to see that somebody went over and got it cut down, because it was looking really bad. And it is a safety hazard. Somebody can light that place up. As soon as it starts drying up, those branches and everything catch fire and could be a safety hazard for sure. And not to mention just a really bad. And this is going along with what Mr. Weiss was trying to tell us in his advice to us is how we need to maintain the inner city development of the community or our external initiatives that we're initiating. So we have to work hand in hand with those. So just be mindful of that. And I was going to ask you on that security place I was just mentioning right now. I've noticed they've put a lot of money into cameras. I mean, that place is like high security and we don't even know what they're doing there. You know what I mean? And you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Right
GTHQ, I think they have a certificate issued
Yeah,
for a training
and so
facility.
just the other day I was going by and there's a bunch of cameras. I mean, really high security. Um, the increase in the property value is going to stay where it's at. They don't, on the permits and stuff that they get, does not increase our valuation for that to tax.
For the property?
More.
That's something the Bear County tax assessor is the one that assesses that. So I don't know if they've done any increases. I haven't looked at properties that are not vacant or for sale or for lease.
Sense. So I was just curious because I went by there and I was like, wow, they don't have a sign up there or anything, and just really low key.
Yeah.
Really, considering as to maybe get with Bear County and ask them how's that coming along in the property. That one vacant property that we were inquiring about that belongs to us, apparently, right across from the Shell. Did we ever get that resolved?
That one's owned by San Antonio. That's
Yeah,
it.
did
Yeah.
we determine, I think Ms. Hernandez was going to look into acquiring.
It's owned by San Antonio. We had a discussion with San Antonio about that property. It's been a couple months. I would have to look back and see what the verdict was on that. Yeah.
It's up to date on that. And I think I had one last thing about your deal here. I think that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thumbs up.
Any other questions for Nick? Go ahead.
More of a statement. 102 Leisure, I noticed a for sale sign popped up a couple of days ago, for sale by owner, it looks like.
Yeah, I think that was the one that I was trying to, we haven't had it updated on here. Yeah.
Okay.
It was 102.
Yep.
Nick, I do have a question as well on 205 North Crossroads. I guess what was the car wash? I seem to recall you'd mentioned something about them looking for a demo permit or doing something with that property. Have you heard anything else from them?
So there was I guess a mix up from a couple years ago why they didn't receive a demo permit or why they weren't allowed to. So we clarified the issues and then they were allowed to proceed with the demo permit. They never applied for one. So they know they can get one. There's no issues with them getting one. They understand what they need to do to get one and I guess what compliance would need after that. They just haven't looked to obtain one.
Got it. And just out of curiosity, the industrial park looks like it's filling out pretty well. Oh, how many, do you have a sense of how,
Is that 7,001?
yeah,
I don't know what the occupancy is. I think I would refer back to Jimmy, but I think the last
Yeah,
place
he's-
Ian came in a few months ago, I think he said he was at 80%, but that's been a couple months now, so I'm sure it's gone up.
very good.
May I be ready?
Yes, absolutely.
So there's one vacancy in the park and then one inside the smaller building that I'm in. So two vacancies in the whole park and that's it.
All right. Yeah, even though I know that many of these are not sales tax generating, there is also there's fixtures and furniture and things like that. And it's not a lot of money, but it's,
Yeah, we have received a few permits that
Yeah.
come in from them, whether they're doing HVAC upgrades or plumbing upgrades, anything like that. So the city is receiving some money, but the sales tax is low for most of those tenants.
right.
Property value will go up with occupancy.
Yes.
One more thing, if I may.
Sure, absolutely.
So one more thing, Nick, on the 205 Crossroads, that's the one I was going to mention to you. On the covers of the drainage, they're real dangerous for people over there. If you can make sure that that gets looked at, because they took all the steel crate covers over them, where they could actually cover the holes. Somebody can fall in there, a kid playing around, they can end up.
This is the stormwater cover, or
Yeah.
this is the cover on the property?
Main of the
Okay.
actual bays. They're all gone and they're just open. They were putting like little blue plastic trash can covers or something like that over them, but they're gone. And so those, somebody can fall in so easily in there, and I just would hate to see that occur, not to mention the eyesore that it has. Have they mentioned what they're gonna do with that?
They have not, no. No, like I said, we talked about how to get the demo permit. They know what process they need to go through and what has to be done after demolition. Disconnecting the sanitary this sanitary sewer laterals and all that. They just haven't contacted us about getting the permit yet. So I don't know if they're still showing that interest or not.
Let me recommend something to you. Can you contact all of these vacant businesses and just get a feel? Call them and say, hey, we're just wanting to find out the economic development initiatives that we're implementing. I'm trying to increase business, seeing how we can help them, assist. How can the board assist you maybe with your property to sell it, to get an interest in it or something? And ask them to just feel them out and say, we just wanted to see what intentions you have with that property. What would you like to see done with it? So that if we get somebody that calls in or we have somebody, a conversation with a potential economic development project, we can steer them your way.
Sure. So I have done that. I've already contacted all the property owners. I would say just about most of the realtors have told me they don't need any additional assistance from the city, but either way, we have updated the website and told them, hey, we're going to do what we can on our end to help them either facilitate the sale or lease of the property. Most of them want to retain their usage, whether it's a QSR that was previously there or sales or I'm sorry, a retail trade or whatever it may be. But like in Spiriamos, they told me, I mean, it's a very high rent per month for that location, but they want to retain a restaurant or a bank in that location.
Can you provide me a little, or the board, us a little synopsis, please?
Sure.
On each contact you've made and kind of have an idea so we could keep in our memory banks in case we run across something.
You got it.
Know what their input was. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you all. And Nick, I will request if you can hang around for the executive session, there'll be a discussion on a pad site. And it's something that I've already discussed through email with you. And I'd like your input if that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Moving forward, we have consent agenda items. I guess we can do each, do A, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held March 2026. I'll give you a moment to review and certainly entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, if I may be recognized.
Yes.
I have a question for Joe on the Living Lavish Realty Group. Did they ever file a complaint of any sort against the city or anything regarding an encounter with a tenant, co-tenant, or complaint or anything like that? Okay. We never received anything. Yeah. That's all I have.
Very good. And I'll accept the motion.
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion has been seconded. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? In the opinion of the chair, it is unanimous. Let's do the monthly finance report now. Again, I'll look for a motion here.
Chairman, do have a question.
Sure.
Looking at the monthly expense, well, really the beginning fund balance, 3,906,336. Where is that money at? Where did that come from?
So as Floyd explained it to me, what you're really looking at is the balance on the loan.
Gotcha.
Essentially, that is, he values our investment based, and there's, some sort of generally accepted accounting principles at work there, but that is the beginning fund balance. So if, because that is the outstanding amount from the original $5.4 million. There's a term for it in accounting terms, but I don't remember
Okay.
what it's called. But
Thank you.
it's, you can check with Floyd on that one. And I'll entertain a motion.
Just have one question, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Regarding the Eat It Up marketing, you may be familiar with this, Mr. Bravo. Do you have any kind of substantiating documentation for what they've provided to us under those $2,000 we paid them?
I don't want to answer, it's conjecture, but I believe that was when you were preparing to go to Mexico, they did some work for us.
Okay, have they finished that up yet?
I believe they
They
did.
have?
I believe they did. I'm going to make a note to check
Okay.
and
Could
get you an
please
answer.
provide the EDC board with that?
Sure.
Please?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Again, there's a motion.
Do we have a motion?
I'll motion to approve the finance report.
Good. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
You're opposed?
No.
A little delay on that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's no worries. In the opinion of the chair, it passes unanimously. Business items. So this is something this has been since it was announced in, I think, what folks call the Big Beautiful Bill, which was passed in July of 2025. There was a continuation of the, what the folks are calling opportunity zones and opportunity zones 2.0. And if you could, Roy, can you put up the timeline? As part of that legislation, they have they've extended these opportunity zones, and we've talked about them at previous meetings, so I won't go too much into that. But the idea being that for purposes of creating opportunity zone funds and having investment made into historically disadvantaged communities, if you meet certain federal criteria, you can apply for this opportunity zone designation. And the law was passed in July. It was announced. Treasury, the U.S. Department of Treasury came up with a master list on April 8th of eligible tracts, of which basically the entire city of Balcones Heights is one tract, and it is eligible. And so we have submitted an application. The way we in correspondence with the governor's office, there's a couple different options how you can submit your application. You can choose to submit through the county, and but since we are our own EDO, Economic Development Organization, we can also submit directly. But they ask that we coordinate with the county so that they not sort of oversubscribe their allocation. Not every eligible tract will be selected. Treasury has said only 25% of all eligible tracts can be selected. Can you do the other slide as well, the screenshot? The county did a little, in the spirit of last night's game, did a little pick and roll on us. What they're supposed to have, as I understood it, they were supposed to only submit 25% of the eligible tracts. What they've interpreted is no, we can actually submit 80% of our eligible tracts. Since the governor, the unit of analysis is not the county, it's the entire state of Texas. So to give ourselves the best chance, what Bexar County has decided to do is out of the 140 eligible tracts or 146 eligible tracts, they've decided to nominate 116, which basically means they've pretty much nominated everybody. Now, had they been more selective and we would have made the cut there, I mean, we would have a better chance, I think, of actually getting selected, although the governor can basically do whatever they want. In other words, they don't have to choose 25% of the eligible tracts in Bexar County. The unit of analysis for Treasury is the entire state. And if they want to favor, let's say, North Texas, they can favor North Texas and not help Bexar County that much. So there's that. So what does this mean to us? Can you go back to the other one? What we've heard kind of repeatedly is that the real decision making is going to be done in Austin. And there's going to be, I mean, obviously lobbying, right? Our app is already in the governor's office. Okay, we submitted directly because once I saw that, I was like, this is not gonna work. We're gonna get mixed in with everybody else. And I said no. And again, we'd asked permission already. The governor's office had simply said, just please coordinate. And we did. We coordinated with Deborah Carter, who's the point person here at Bexar County. So the deadline to nominate, people are already nominating. Bexar County is not going to actually approve these until June 23rd. That 80%. So they can't even come to an agreement on the 80%. So 26 is the deadline for the governor's office. Windows open for states to nominate to Treasury directly. July 1st. August 3rd is when the governor's office has said, this is by the time that we intend to do all our nominations by August 3rd. And of course, Treasury will in October, sometime November, announce, and then they'll become effective January 1, 2027. We've done what we can do from our end. The question remains, is there additional resources that we could deploy from Austin, or for lack of a better term, a lobbyist, an ally, folks like that, who could potentially, is there any, I'm not calling for action. I don't think I listed this as action. It's just discussion and update. But there is a small window of opportunity here that if we do want to engage in a trip to Austin, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. to see what the appetite is on how to make certain that we make that list of the 25% of all eligible tracks. So that's my update and my what do we call it? Update and well, we can open it up for discussion.
Chairman, I think that's a great idea. I would also like to, I don't know who would be the person, but there should be a point person to figure out, contact different lobbyists to see what it would cost to hire a lobbyist. And see if that would be, I'm going to say cost efficient. So.
Yeah, this is a little, I mean, I know Joe did a stint in city government and stuff like that. And maybe some of them, Johnny, I'm sure with Edwards, I'm sure they had lobbyists. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I was just curious if you have any idea from, other counties, is the Bexar County strategy there, is that consistent? Is that happening other places, or is that unique to Bexar County?
Actually, and I didn't list this because I didn't necessarily want to get too in the weeds on it. It's actually inconsistent in my interpretation of the guidelines that were handed down by the state. Again, I'm sure they would tell me I'm wrong, but I have an email from their office that the whole reason they said coordinate with your county because we do not want more than 25%. You're giving them all the authority essentially at that point because you didn't follow the rules, right? You didn't. Now, I understand why it makes political sense because you don't want to be the elected official to tell that person your opportunity zone didn't make it on our list. That allows them. But they added another layer, which is to send it to the regional EDO called SATX. Those are not even elected officials anymore. Those are people that get appointed. So they're actually going to be the final say in all this, which is a direct contradiction with what the regs say, which it should be either the EDO can nominate or the county judge, because some counties don't have EDOs. So it's all over the map, right? Like it's, and I kind of sensed that this is what was I didn't know this was going to happen, but I knew it'd be a mess because most everyone started late. From our perspective, I mean, we have I think a very responsive application. We answered each and every one of the questions, all the drawings, everything that we've invested in, all the reports, everything went into the application. We are considered what's called a shovel-ready project, which is 4 points on the criteria because of all the Wonderland of the Americas stuff. But again, I mean, by the way, this is a once in 10-year opportunity, by the way, but Treasury says you cannot redesignate but this one time, and then you can do it again in 10 years. So in other words, if you earn the designation, you have it for 10 years. If you don't have it, there's really nothing you can do about it until 2037.
Is there obviously the governor has a lot of different offices. Is there a particular office that we know is going to be, advising on those initial applicants? Because,
Yes. So it's delegated to their economic development and tourism office. There's Adriana Cruz or someone like that is the executive director of that. But again, what we've heard fairly consistently is that this is a political process. Like this is at the end of the day, it's going to be a political there's going to be, even in the nomination, I'll give you a quick example. They've listed the tract by UTSA main campus. as an opportunity. The city submitted them. I was like, why do they need opportunity zone designation? Like you're telling me people aren't going to invest at 1604 and I-10? Like people are tripping over themselves to invest money over there. Why do they need the tax breaks? Well, I mean, I think, at the end of the day, there's politics, right? People who want that designation are going to get it. And, we'll see. I mean, again, I'm optimistic that if we, we'll see. I just wanted to throw it out there. Obviously, I've talked a lot about these opportunity zones. I see them as very advantageous for precisely the situation that this community finds itself in. You need patient capital in order to be able to do the necessary things. The opportunity zone designation affords you that opportunity, along with the other things that we can do with 380 type arrangements, a TERS, and all these other things. But again, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it is a political process, and again, we're in their list right now, the counties, but it really, that's not where it's going to get decided. It's going to get decided in Austin.
Chairman,
Yes.
I have a question and well, a comment and a question. So my comment is if it's political, I'm glad that we filed separately because, the governor's office is Republican and we're predominantly Democratic in Bexar County. But the question would be for council who's on virtually, what is your take? What can we do to put ourselves in a better position?
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen. I think that the chair is correct in that having a physical presence up here in Austin during the legislative session and even before, creating opportunities to discuss the distinctions that may arise as the chair was discussing in comparison with the campus, but there's probably a number of other areas that are uniquely distinguished or distinguishable from the unique situation that Balcony Heights is in. And in doing that, also to the extent that other legislators there locally may be able to push for Balcony Heights as well, and creating a political action committee even may be another option where you can develop some influence on the state legislators and the governor's office to move forward with regards to your project. But I think that the chair is right in part is that if this is a political contribution item, some kind of battle or that kind of thing, then I think that does place the city at a disadvantage. That's where the lobbyists, and I know 3 or 4 lobbyists that kind of specialize in lobbying for local government that we could contact and vet if that was something that the board would want to do.
I'm for that. Yes, sir.
Any other questions or? So I didn't list this as an action item, Mr. Hyde. So I'm not sure.
Well, action would require, a vote of the board is required for final action. However, if you have a direct staff or direct your legal counsel to do something, that can be done by the consensus of the board without action.
Okay. So if we, for example, direct counsel to provide us recommendations with respect to, potentially engaging the services of someone to assist us with our application in Austin. That would be within the, that would be all right then.
Correct, because there's nothing, you haven't decided anything. All you've done is asked us to go back and get some more information for you.
Well, that would be my recommendation. I don't know if anyone else
Yeah, I agree.
wants to add to that or
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
absolutely.
I would have to agree with my colleague Hernandez that it is a favorable thing to do. I think it would be smart and conducive on behalf of the city to explore that. So I would be in favor of my colleague's suggestion.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. So, Mr. Hyde, we would request, the board is requesting that you look into this for us, and I'll make the timeline available to you. It is time sensitive in the sense that there are already deadlines in place for this particular. It's all being handled through the governor's office, so it wouldn't necessarily. I mean, when I say it's political, I'm sure that I just mean that it's not a legislative enactment. It is the governor's office that does it. But I mean, obviously that's political too, right? Like it's not. So we would just request that you get something for us, and then we can, if necessary, I guess, have a special meeting or just for that item to actually have some action.
Yeah, I think all three of us know one person in particular that I'd be calling,
Right.
and then we'll move on from there.
Perfect. Okay. What's next?
Yeah, make a
Yes,
last
absolutely.
comment to council.
Yes.
We do have a regular city council meeting that would have to approve the expenditure. So that meeting is coming up. I think the deadline to submit is tomorrow. If at all possible, we can get some kind of numbers or calculation that we can have that on our next meeting, which is on the 22nd, I believe, 22nd or 23rd. So sorry to rush you there, but
No, that's not
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
challenging.
No, I think
Yes.
that's an excellent observation, Councilman Hernandez. And yeah, so meet that deadline for tomorrow, have some numbers crunched for them for the council to review and look at and then consider approving. Meet the deadline so we don't have to wait a whole month. Good recommendation.
Very good. We are now, let's see here. Read caption. It is 3:44 p.m. The board will now recess the regular session and reconvenes in executive session. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071, legal consultation, 551.074, and 551.087, economic development, to deliberate and seek legal advice regarding the EDC may receive an update regarding Resolution 2026-02R, including matters related to the redevelopment authority, implementation of the resolution, and authorization for the hiring of an executive director. EDC may also discuss related administrative, legal, and financial and operational matters and provide further direction as appropriate. 2, pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071, legal consultation, 551.072, real property, and 551.087, economic development, to deliberate and seek legal advice regarding Wonderland of the Americas update, insurance policies, terms and renewal, Wonderland of America mall property sale, leasing and tenancy, economic development alternatives for Wonderland of the Americas mall, property taxation for corporate real property. Has the recording stopped?
Would you like to take Wonderland?
Yes, we're going to swap.
Okay,
Yeah. Mhm.
thank you.
Is the recording off? Yes. It is now 5:12 and the reconvening in open session. Um, we resume recording. It's 5:12. We are back in open session. Are there any motions from closed session? No, I don't know. So let us see then. Updates. No, we don't have an executive director. Let us keep moving. What is the last item? Any announcements, right? Future agenda items, suggestions, or announcements from board members or staff? That's it. I think. Very good. Well, I'll also entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Roger, like to make a motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? In the opinion of the chair, it's unanimous. We adjourned at 5:13 p.m.
Thank you, George.
Y'all have a good evening.